Allenglade House stood watch over Pilgrims Rest. It was a grand old mansion. Its white paint was peeling. The wraparound porch sagged, yet it held a certain charm. The house had seen so much, it held secrets within its walls. Built in the heart of the gold rush, it whispered of a time long ago, a time of dreams and despair. The town below bustled with life. Tourists came to relive the gold rush days. They walked the same streets as prospectors once did. But up on the hill, Allenglade House stood alone. It was a relic of a bygone era, a place where time seemed to stand still. The house had been empty for years. Locals told stories. They whispered of strange noises and cold spots. Some claimed to see lights flickering in the windows. Children dared each other to approach, but none dared stay after dark. Allenglade House held a dark history, a story of love, loss, and lingering sorrow. William Hartley arrived in Pilgrims Rest in 1870. He was a young man with a head full of dreams. He longed to strike it rich. He toiled day and night in the gold fields. His back ached, but his spirit remained unbroken. One day his luck changed. He unearthed a nugget of gold. It was larger than any he had seen before. With his newfound wealth, William built Allenglade House. He named it after his childhood home in England. He filled it with fine furnishings. He brought a touch of elegance to the rugged landscape. But William yearned for something more. He longed for someone to share his fortune, someone to share his life. One evening at a town dance, he met Eliza. She was the daughter of a local shopkeeper. Eliza was beautiful and kind. Her laughter was like music to William's ears. They fell deeply in love. Their love story became a local legend. William and Eliza married in the spring. The whole town attended the wedding. Allenglade House was filled with music and laughter. It was the happiest day of William's life. He had found true love. He had everything he ever wanted. The years that followed were blissful. William's gold allowed him to provide for Eliza. He showered her with gifts. But their happiness was short-lived. Tragedy struck. Eliza fell ill. Her condition worsened with each passing day. William was devastated. He summoned the best doctors. He spared no expense, but nothing could save Eliza. She died in his arms in their bedroom in Allenglade House. The room was filled with the scent of her favorite lavender perfume. William was heartbroken. He could not bear to stay in Allenglade House. The memories were too painful. He left Pilgrims Rest. He never returned. Allenglade House stood empty. It became a haunting reminder of the love William and Eliza shared. Years turned into decades. The stories of William and Eliza became local lore. People whispered of Eliza's restless spirit. They said she wandered the halls of Allenglade House, mourning her lost love. Some claimed to hear the faint strains of a mournful piano melody drifting from the windows, the same melody Eliza used to play. Others spoke of a woman in white. She was often seen on the balcony, her sorrowful eyes gazing out over the town. Was it Eliza, trapped in her grief? Or were these stories just the product of overactive imaginations? Clara was a young historian. She'd always been drawn to the past. She loved uncovering forgotten stories. She traveled from town to town, researching local history and listening to the stories people told. One day she stumbled upon the tale of Allenglade House. She was immediately intrigued. Clara arrived in Pilgrims Rest in the heat of summer. She felt drawn to the imposing figure of Allenglade House silhouetted against the setting sun. The locals warned her about the house. They told her it was haunted. But Clara dismissed their tales as superstition, believing there was always a logical explanation. Clara secured permission to explore Allenglade House. She was determined to uncover its secrets. She spent her days exploring the dusty rooms, examining old documents she found in the attic. She pieced together the story of William and Eliza. She She felt a strange connection to Eliza and was determined to learn more about this woman. The air in Allenglade House was heavy. It smelled of dust and decay. Cobwebs clung to the once elegant chandeliers. The silence was broken only by the creaking floorboards beneath Clara's feet. Yet Clara felt strangely at peace within those walls. She spent hours in the house, and each day she uncovered another piece of the puzzle. She found Eliza's diary tucked away in a hidden compartment of a writing desk. The pages were brittle with age, the ink faded, but Clara could still make out Eliza's delicate handwriting. As she read, she felt a chill run down her spine. Eliza's words painted a vivid picture of her life, her love for William, her hopes and dreams, and her growing despair as her illness took hold. One evening, as dusk settled over Allenglade House, Clara experienced something unexplainable. She was alone in Eliza's old bedroom. The room was filled with an eerie stillness. Suddenly, she felt a cold spot. The temperature plummeted. The air grew heavy. A chill ran down her spine. She turned slowly. There, in the dim light, she saw her, a translucent figure, a woman in a white gown. Her face was obscured by shadow, but Clara knew. She knew it was Eliza. Fear threatened to overwhelm her, but Clara stood her ground. She had to know more. She had to understand. Eliza drifted closer. She reached out a hand. It was ice cold, but Clara didn't flinch. She felt no fear, only a profound sadness. She knew Eliza meant her no harm. Eliza's touch was fleeting. She vanished as quickly as she had appeared, leaving Clara shaken but determined. She had to know why Eliza lingered, why her spirit remained trapped in Allenglade House. Clara pored over Eliza's diary again, searching for clues. Finally, she found it. A passage written in Eliza's fading hand on the last page of the diary. Eliza wrote of her love for William, her sorrow at leaving him, and her one regret. She had never had the chance to say goodbye, to tell him one last time how much she loved him. Clara understood. Eliza wasn't haunting Allenglade House out of sorrow. She was trapped by her unfinished business. She yearned for closure. She needed to find a way to communicate with William, to tell him she loved him, to finally let go. Clara knew what she had to do. She had to tell Eliza's story. She had to share Eliza's love for William with the world. She had to set Eliza's spirit free. Clara spent weeks compiling her research. She wrote a book about Allenglade House, about William and Eliza, about love, loss, and the enduring power of the human spirit. She published the book on the anniversary of Eliza's death. She held a launch event at Allenglade House. The whole town attended. They listened, captivated, as Clara brought the past to life, as she shared Eliza's story with the world. That night, something extraordinary happened. As the last of the guests left Allenglade House, Clara felt a presence beside her. She turned and saw her, Eliza. But this time she looked different. She was no longer a translucent figure. She was radiant. Her eyes sparkled with peace. She smiled at Clara, a silent thank you. Then in a blink of an eye, she was gone. Clara knew Eliza was finally free. She had found peace. She had let go, and in doing so, she had released Allenglade House from its sorrowful past. The house no longer felt heavy with sadness. It felt lighter, brighter. Clara decided to stay in Pilgrims Rest. She bought Allenglade House. She turned it into a museum, a tribute to William and Eliza's love story. People from all over came to visit. They learned about the gold rush. They heard the tales of William and Eliza. They left touched by the love story that had unfolded within those walls. Allenglade House was no longer a place of sorrow. It was a place of remembrance, a place where Eliza's memory lived on. Not in whispers of fear, but in the laughter of children, in the murmur of voices sharing her story, in the knowledge that even in darkness, love could find a way to shine through.